last day in Ayutthaya, at sunrise, I witnessed a beautiful Thai Buddhist tradition. Every morning, the people line the main streets of Ayutthaya to offer food to the monks walking by. The alms sustain the monks, who reciprocate by blessing the donors. It reminds us that spirituality is embedded in the daily life of the nation.
We're here to offer food to the monks.
Yeah, to get a good luck in the morning. Okay, we have monk here. Shall we? นิมนต์ค่ะท่าน นิมนต์ค่ะท่าน
Witnessing this tradition was a good way to begin my immersion into Thai history. In Ayutthaya, I time traveled via architecture to learn more about this country's spirit. That same morning, I went to the ruins of Wat Mahathat Temple, once known as the Monastery of the Great Relic. Excavations of the ruins have turned up, among other relics, a solid gold lion. The place remains a center of pilgrimage. Wat Mahathat was at the heart of Ayutthaya, capital of ancient Thailand in the 17th century. 417 years after the kingdom of Ayutthaya was founded, it was conquered and the city's magnificent structures, including this temple, were almost completely destroyed. Today, the city is Thailand's major tourist attraction. Close to the temple ruins are the remains of the Dutch settlement built in 1634. On the site of the village is a new museum celebrating that early meeting of Thai and Dutch cultures.
So when the Dutch came to Thailand, were they already in Indonesia at the time, so it was easier for them, or?
When they came, they were basically wanted to build connection with China at the time. That was the original intention to come to Siam.
Which hasn't really changed, because to this day, everyone is trying to get into the Chinese market.
Yeah, it's such a big market. And the Dutch thinks that by making connection with Siam, they would be able to make, to use this connection to enter
the rest of Asia, yes.
Yes, that's why they decided to establish a trade post here as well.
In the 17th century, the King of Siam granted permission to the Dutch East India Company to open a trading post in Ayutthaya. The remains of the trading post have been excavated, and the artifacts found there are now on permanent display. Almost next door is the site of the Japanese settlement, which is now a museum and information center. The museum guide told me the fascinating story of the Japanese samurai who fought for the King of Siam. Towards the end of the 16th century, Japanese ronin, or samurai with no masters, were hired to fight alongside Siamese troops against invaders. Warriors like Yamada Nagamasa became famous in Ayutthaya and later went into business. During dinner on a boat on the Sao Praia River, I began to process the things I'd seen in Thailand and tried to find the pattern in the sensory overload. If I were to write about Khao Yai and Ayutthaya, I would write about the founding of Siam, its rise to power, the building of the temples, and the kingdom's first contact with the West. To end my trip on a cinematic note, I viewed the ruins of an ancient temple during a river cruise at sunset.
I'm on a boat on the Sao Praia in Ayutthaya, an ancient capital of Thailand, making like an extra in Apocalypse Now. I feel like I'm sailing into the heart of old Thailand, where no matter the modern trimmings and the technological progress, everything answers the question, what is Thai? During these trips, at the end of my travels, I like to ask myself the question, Jessica, what are you going to write about after everything you've seen? And on this trip, I find that I'm thinking more about my own country, the Philippines. Because I would like, as a Filipino, to be able to ask a question that the Thais can answer so easily and with absolute certainty. They can ask themselves, what is Thai? And come up with an answer immediately. And I would like to be able to do that with myself. I would like to ask myself, what is Filipino? And answer it with absolute certainty instantly. This is Jessica Zafra. That was Trippies.
Read more about Trippies in the Travel Now section of the Philippine Star.